And my prayer every morning as I write this on my wrist is like, Jesus, thank you. You woke me up again. I just want to join you today. So open my eyes to like just see where you're at work today. And that practice has really shaped me. I mean, we get good at what we practice.
Yeah.
And if people can find, whether it's this X or whatever thing is their own thing to remind them that they got another day, and not about tomorrow, but just like deal with the things God's put in front of you today. Like that's all we get, really.
I'm Andy Erwin, and this is the Storytellers. Coming up on this edition of the Storytellers, this could go way off the rails. We've got Tim and Bart. Tim Timmons, Bart Millard, the two of them together, the dynamic duo. These guys are hysterical when they get together, have a very similar sense of humor. And you know Bart from the band MercyMe, and you know, absolutely the inspiration for the first I Can Only Imagine. He's one of my dearest friends. Well, you're going to meet Tim Timmons. And Tim is his best friend that wrote the song Even If with him, and ultimately is the inspiration for this new story we're telling. And Milo Ventimiglia plays him, and I Can Only Imagine too. And so once you meet the real guys, you're in for a real treat. Please welcome Bart Millard and Tim Timmons. So this could go one of a million directions and go really off the rails.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
Should.
But on the Storytellers, Tim
Yes.
Timmons and Bart Millard, welcome to the show.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you, Andy Erwin,
Yes.
Yeah.
Of Storytellers.
Yes, I've
for
been
having us.
looking for this. Is going to be an ADD nightmare, but you guys are legit, like, really good friends. And so, like, what forged the connection between you guys as friends, and like, what's kept your friendship going over all these years?
There was a Zumba class that I remember. I'll never forget that first time.
Zumba.
Tell them about it.
It was a long time ago. And yeah, we let's see. We a little bit like the movie when Tim we were on tour, and first day of the tour we had this whole kind of tour meeting with everybody to talk about how it's going to go, and Tim walked up and said, "I was told we're going to be best friends by mutual friends of ours," and it was very off-putting for me because he came in hot, and I was like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
And they weren't wrong. We've done a lot of life together. You know, I'd like to take partial credit for making him move to Nashville. I don't know if that's true or not.
No,
but
it's really
that's what
true.
I tell people.
It's really true.
So y'all's sense of humor is both like you both kind of like to kind of poke the
Awkward.
bear.
Yes.
Yeah. And so did that you know, I definitely know it didn't trigger you, but like, did you not like it at first? Like, what was the sense of humor like between the two of you guys at first?
No, for someone like me who spent most of my life I always try to be the funny guy, like, you know, never take much too seriously. And for some reason, Tim is the one that makes me uncomfortable and makes me laugh.
And I
like
love
it's
that
like
about
it's
him.
when I'm around Tim, it's not that I'm not as funny. It's like I don't feel like I have to be as much, if that makes sense. And that's a compliment. But yeah, he's made me feel incredibly uncomfortable.
For years now.
Yeah. It's dumb stuff, but I don't know why I hate it. But like the one that comes to mind that I still don't know why it bothers
This is
me.
a confrontation. I feel like
We were in our car talking about something, you know, that had some kind of meaning to it, and we were at a stop sign, and there were these two ladies in the parking lot that are just talking, and one lady's holding a milkshake maker, like she just bought it or something. And,
gosh.
and I'm trying to tell Tim something. He rolls the window down. And he's like, "Hey, is that the Hamilton milkshake machine?" And she goes, "What?" And he goes, "I've been looking. Is that machine?" She goes, "It is." He goes, "Oh my gosh." And like he kept asking her, and I'm in the passenger seat, so he's talking across me where I can't hide.
You just froze it like
Yeah, and I'm like, "What's happening?" And the lady's like, "I'm afraid I'm gonna get pepper sprayed because they're not sure what's happening." And he does it all the time. And if anyone's ever tried to fight him, I've never seen it.
No.
It's like,
Not yet.
I don't know how. To me, I feel like that'd be a worst nightmare. That it would go so wrong if I tried that.
My first memory with Tim Timmons is we were at an event with you guys or something, and this bald-headed dude comes up behind me, grabs me in this like really awkwardly close hug, and it was like, "Don't fight it, don't fight it, don't fight it." I'm just sitting there like, "Who is this dude?"
Oh, there's so many.
Who was
times.
that?
We walk down the street and like big old thug dudes. Like if somebody trips or bumps into you, they'll be like, "Sorry." And Tim's like, "You're doing great. You're doing great." And I'm like, he would punch me in the face if I said that. And they're like, they giggle at him and keep walking.
What's the secret to your humor? Because like I've heard stories like you would rush ahead on tour to like the whatever place you guys were going to stop at for lunch, and when they got there, you were already wearing the uniform and like waiting on the tables or stuff like that.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know, guys. I'm not normal. It's just not okay.
True.
I love breaking down walls.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's so fun to like, break down walls. I love breaking people. There's this guy that was at my wife and I were just on a trip, and there's a guy that we saw every day. And man, it was like we were the worst intrusion to his day. I mean, it was, he's in the service industry, but it was like, how do we break this guy so he will smile at some point, So it's kind of like a goal. And then I also know that Bart hates hugs, so I love hugging him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
And like the fact that those people had the Hamilton machine, just that Bart would be so uncomfortable, that made me really happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I know he will love me on the other side.
It was funny in the movie. There was a moment where Milo Ventimiglia, who plays you in the movie, was looking for little Tim-isms, and he would just ad lib. And there was a couple of off-color jokes that he threw out like in front of a crowd. And I went up to him after. I was like, Milo, highly accurate. It's never going in the movie. It's like, lose the joke.
Yes.
And so it was awesome.
But on the other side, I feel. I mean, this is kind of a sweet moment. But I feel the same way. I was telling Dave, my manager, yesterday, that I don't feel like I have to be. He's so funny that I just get to kind of hang out and enjoy. Like I don't have to be on. So this is really sweet.
Mm-hmm, it is.
Now Bart's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's about to run for the door.
No, it's true. It's true. Like we've had a few, like even this morning, that there's somebody will say something and the equivalent of maybe a "that's what she said," to where we just both go, And we've both done it several times already. It's like that's just a slight acknowledgement.
So for you guys, when we decided to do the sequel to I Can Only Imagine, and then it involved both of your stories, how did you feel about it? Were you nervous about it? Like, I know Tim Hillary said don't make it cheesy, and so she was the hardest to convince.
Yeah.
But were there any nerves? What advice did you give him, Bart? And then like, how did you guys feel about taking this on together?
I wasn't nervous. I was more than anything, I was excited because of the experience of the first movie. And so there was probably more of for you and me, was like, we get to do this again, which was really exciting. And then just as exciting was the fact that, because I mean, we kind of did the pitch, and then it was like, well, let's see if Tim's in.
Right.
And so I was really excited to do this with Tim. It was, it was like kind of the perfect scenario of like, man, and just talking to Tim and Hillary a few times and just trying to remember the things that were challenging and then definitely talking about how enjoyable and, it's like, aside from whether the movie's successful or not, the process of making it is just, it's pretty surreal, hard to describe, but you've kind of got to do it, man. Like, when do you get this opportunity? And so, yeah, I was, the experience has been enjoyable all the way through. I don't think I was ever nervous. If I was nervous about anything, it was not necessarily believing in the beginning that it was enough of a story to make a movie about.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Brent, you guys, I changed my tune pretty quickly when I saw what Brent wrote. And I was like, I tell people, man, I'm telling you, my real life is way more boring than that script. He did a great job.
I mean, for you, I remember I was like, okay, we've already pitched it to Lionsgate. They were making this movie. I was like, I might want to go talk to Tim Timmons.
Yeah. Throw it out there.
So I'm like, okay, the best way to talk to Tim is he likes to go on these walks.
Yeah.
And so you book a meeting with Tim, you go for a walk. And I remember we walked up this massive, like I was just like, hey, you want to go for a walk? I'm thinking like we're going to walk around the neighborhood. You take me on this hike up this massive hill. So I get to the top and I'm looking over the edge of this valley and I can't breathe. I'm like, oh dear Lord, it's going black. And then finally somehow, and I was like, do you want to make a movie? And then you're like, movie?
Yeah, come again?
Yeah. So, what were your initial reactions, and then like what advice did you seek out from Bart, because he had already done it before?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the beauty is that Hillary and I got to walk with Bart and Shannon through the first one.
Right.
And, we'd be sitting in your car in our front, driveway, just talking through all of the different steps and all the, different issues and hard things and beautiful things. And so we got to watch that firsthand. And kudos to you guys and kudos to you who made that process so beautiful last time. And us knowing you and trusting Brent, because we love Brent. Brent was a part of our church years ago, and it was like, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So I didn't know him as a writer. I just know him as a human. And I just really appreciate how he sees things.
Right.
So to have both of you guys working on this for us was like, yes. And Hillary was like, just don't make it cheesy.
And she was like dead serious.
Yeah.
It gave me chills because I was like, oh, okay.
I love that.
I was like, but it made me, I was like, that means that you guys are the right guys to include in this story, because I didn't want to make it cheesy. I wanted it to make it unexpected. And so,
and you did, and we are truly, truly so honored by the writing, by the acting, directing. I mean, Hillary and I feel so seen in this movie. Thanks, man. Thank you, and well done.
Well, I appreciate that. The biggest treat for us, and I've already gone this one round with Bart, but it's always the treat to show the real life person. It's like, this is your life.
Yeah.
And they get the chance to see the movie cut together for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's a surreal experience because it's a version of you. It's almost like watching, the multiverse version of you. Like, this is a version that could have existed had it gone just a little bit different. And it was really cool to watch that for both you guys. And then it being your first time was cool. So was there any resentment, Bart, over the casting in this film?
No, I
That's
guess
a good
not.
bit. That's a good bit.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, dance with the girl that brought you. So, Finley that plays Bart, we became really good friends, making the first movie and that whole time. And so this was the whole feeling for me was literally getting the band back together, getting to work with Andy and getting to pull Tim in this. And then, I remember texting John going, they want to tell you first, so we didn't have this conversation, but we may be making a movie together. And I was like, I swear to you, if you tell him I already told you. And he just so excited to get, because none of us, even you, didn't dream we were going back into the space. And so that was, you don't get a second chance, and just all the things that I look back going, man, I wish I could have enjoyed it more, after the process, and it's getting the chance to do it. And John Finley's just in the same place. I was just with him a couple of days ago, and he was like, man, it's very surreal that we're doing this again. We're already kind of through it and about to release the movie. And yeah, it's I love that it's John playing us. I know when you called me the first movie and said, hey, I think we found Bart, and you flew me to New York to watch him play Jean Valjean in Les Mis on Broadway, it was like, oh man, he feels a little overqualified, and so that was a little intimidating. But then the first time I sat and talked with him, it's like we're either related or been friends for a long time immediately, and it's been that way ever since. So I love my guy. Now Milo, a little weird.
Yeah.
No.
I love that.
Yeah, you had to get the ugly one.
Yeah.
I love that Finley didn't miss a beat when you were like ragging him about like
genius.
They got Milo Ventimiglia to play Tim Timmons, and I've got you. And then
he's like, well, you started eating a long time ago, pal, talking to me. Like
it's like way before they cast me.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
What was Milo like for you? Like, because it's always a tricky thing when you cast somebody to play the real life person. Sometimes, like for instance, when Jamie Foxx was in Ray, and he's playing this iconic, musician. He didn't want to meet him, and he didn't meet him until the premiere. And so, which is kind of shocking. For you, Milo decides to play you, and then how did he respond? And like, what was it like connecting with him at first?
Yeah. Gosh, Milo is a beautiful human, and obviously on the outside, because it's like, look in the mirror. That's so we're good looking together. You set it up for us to hang out and Zoom. So we Zoomed a ton and called and texted a bunch. The first time we Zoomed was when It was on the 7th. It was almost a year ago. And his home was about to burn.
Yeah.
In the background, you could see the flames and like the smoke of
Like
the Malibu fires.
He was literally on the Zoom with you.
Yeah, it was our first hangout. We're 45 minutes in.
You start seeing like a
and all
reflection
of a
on the
sudden,
walls.
he said a few things. And I'm like, oh, what? What's going on? And he showed me the smoke. But even through watching him, and then 2 weeks later, he had his first kid, his first baby. And to watch him go through all that stuff, and then in the movie to talk about even in the fires.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we got to watch him go through hard things. And you kind of you see a human in a man, how they deal with hard things. Like we can all do whatever we do in the midst of easy life, but it's easy to sing when there's nothing to get you down,
Right.
And to watch him in the middle of hard things and watch how he loves people was just beautiful.
Yeah.
So honored to be played by him. And now we have a really great friend. All three of us have a really great friend in Milo.
Mm-hmm. And Milo was so committed to it and worked tirelessly, like even like the little things that he did. People that, we showed the film close to where you used to be a pastor, you music minister at Mariners Church.
Yeah.
And some of your friends from that church came to the screening and they were freaking out because like, oh my goodness, that's Tim Timmons.
Yeah.
And Milo just really nailed a lot of your mannerisms. Even like
quirky.
He wanted to go completely bald.
Yeah.
And we ended with a little bit of a crew cut because like I couldn't get that bill through Congress with Lionsgate, but still somehow you shaved all his hair off and he still is the best looking human on the planet. For you guys, what were some of the memories that you carried from the shoot, that like moments that stuck out for you that were powerful, funny, whatever, emotional? What were the moments on the film set?
Man, there's a few, but a couple that come to mind for me was, and I've talked about it before, but the Blood Brothers scene was really emotional for me to see that. It was one of my favorite scenes, reading it in the script. And it was like really like couldn't wait to see it, come to life. And it didn't disappoint. Like the chemistry between the band and Brickle and Sam and Tim is like it should be its own show. They're so good together.
They're really good.
They really are. And they're a lifeline for the movie that's very heavy. Like their comedic chops are desperately needed in the story. And just watching them, like there were moments when you weren't sure if the camera was on or off because they were just just busting each other's chops nonstop. It's just like, just turn the camera on; they're already going. And it was so fun to watch, and it felt very much like us and MercyMe and how we hang out together. But there's a moment to where Sam's talking about how he hates needles, and it's the first time that Bart and Sam are kind of on the same page, like, where the band agrees we want to see what it's like. Talking about how the finger prick is the worst part of having diabetes, and they all decide to try to prick their fingers just to for solidarity. And that was one of the first times that Bart and Sam are kind of on the same page, like it's us and them, and laughing at the band at being lightweights, and that the moment in real life they really did on the bus one night decide to stick all their fingers, and they wussed out and freaked out like. Like just it's real. It's like that's the worst part. And it was awesome watching that, and it was very emotional for me because it represented what the band has been to all of my kids their entire lives, these crazy uncles, if you will, and it meant the world to me that you guys, how you wrote it and just watching it was like I literally was like over there. Like making noises, I was crying. Like I gotta get a little further away. Like I don't know if they can hear me or not. Like, and that was a beautiful moment. The other one, which you're probably gonna talk about, so maybe I shouldn't. Well, I'll just say the night in the T-Pack when Milo's telling the story of It As Well.
Right.
His first take.
Yes.
Cameras weren't rolling.
Yeah.
And shout out to Johnny Durango. I'm sorry for bringing this up.
I after it was over, I was like, "Why would we not rolling?"
Like you could see the wildfires in California, everything that Milo was going through showed up in that moment, and he's telling this story.
Yeah.
And the dude's in tears, and we're all in tears, and it was like you could heard a pin drop. And he gets done, and it was like, I remember somebody going, "I think we got it," and it was like nobody was filming because we literally still setting up, and he just went. He was running through it.
Yeah, like he just was running through his lines, and he went there, and it was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the crowd when he said, in that song, is
it is well with my soul.
It is well with my soul, and the crowd's like, oh, like it was a visceral.
Yeah. It was a beautiful moment. That, and when at Red Rocks, when you have 8,000, however many people you have, you don't really direct them. It's like a whale. You just follow whatever they do. And so like when the band starts acting out Even If that first time, and they stood on that last chorus.
Impromptu.
Impromptu. That was very emotional and I actually started asking, did someone just cue them to stand? They're like, no, who's cueing them? They're doing what they want to do. And that was incredible.
That was, I want to come back to that moment because that was pretty awesome. How about for you, Tim?
Yeah, I think there are a few, so many moments. Being at most of the filming was just so powerful. And I've said this before, but some of the scenes of my cancer journey, and, we had talked about this a bunch, even on the walk, like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to portray this? And you had talked about, this is more of a portrait than a photograph.
Right.
And there are things about the physical nature of my cancer that aren't portrayed in the movie, and things in the movie that are portrayed that are not part of my thing, my actual cancer journey. But man, you nailed the heart of it. And for me to be able to watch myself from outside of myself, I think we're just all going through life. Andy, you're going through some crazy hard things right now.
Right.
And to have a moment where you could see, your life from the outside, and you could have compassion on yourself going, man, I'm so sorry, self. Like, that's really hard. And I think I got to do, you gave me the gift of being able to see myself from the outside of myself and see my wife from the outside of, us as a couple. And I was just so emotional. I still am emotional at a few parts in the movie, and I've seen it plenty of times, probably too many times. And we're going to keep seeing it. But still parts where I just totally tear up. And the gift of it that you gave me was to being able to see myself from the outside of myself and to have compassion in places that I just haven't in the past. It's like, nope, let's just push through.
Right.
But for all of us to even, I wish all of us could have a movie about them ourselves, but there is something to learn about just taking a step back. I just wrote in our book about this idea of the glass box. And I use this in marriage and in dealing with people all the time, but I'm putting it into my own life. Like, if you look, whatever situation it is, you kind of put this circumstance, this thing, even a fight with my wife, whatever it is, into this glass box, and just kind of like get it away from your body and just observe it. Like, looking at it like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I can totally see how I went here or whatever. And that's kind of what you gave my wife and I in this. And so I think all of the moments that are memories, other than just all the friendships and the crew that you put together and the culture that you had on that set.
It was a great set.
I'm just so grateful to be a part of it.
Man, that's awesome. I echo all of that. It was a rare experience. Like, it was, everybody bought into the movie that we were making, and that's not really on the director. He's part of the equation and what Brent and I sought out to do, but it's really about everybody bought in. Everybody was like, oh, I want to make this movie, and this is the culture I want to create. And so it was a really special thing. And there were also really special benchmarks along the way. And this might be too personal, and if it is, you don't have to answer this one. But one of the things I love was when we were making the script, we had finished the script, and Shannon's father was his health was declining, and he was realizing, I'm not going to make it to when this movie's finished.
Yeah.
And so Sam had recorded his version of It Is Well With My Soul, and then you guys did something special for Frank with that song, and also you called me about the script, and you said, hey, we're going down there, and could I have permission to read this script to him? So tell me, if you don't mind, telling a story. Like,
Frank Street is my father-in-law's name, and his favorite song is It Is Well. Unrelated to the movie and the story, just always has been. And so at some point he's been very active in all of my kids' lives since they were born. And he was like, I know they can all sing. And all he wanted was all of them to sing it as well together, even though none of them really sing that much other than Sam. They do in the house. And so Sam, probably within that last 2 months Frank's life, Sam kind of scrambled and went in and recorded all the kids and Shannon on the song. And we were able to, I think we sent it to him first and watched him on FaceTime as he watched it. And he was like, when it was over, he was like, I knew it. I knew they could do it. I knew they could do it. It's become like one of our most cherished things we've ever done or had. And he listened to that last couple months, a million times, like over and over and over. And when we were told that he had they said, man, we think he has about a month, but we can't guarantee the next couple of days. We were actually supposed to do a show at Disney. And so we were at Disney and I flew my family on to Texas. And then, I was able to do the show that night. And then I flew out. And while we were there, he was like, man, he goes, I really just wanted to see this film through. Like they loved the first one. And so I had the chance to read the script to the whole thing to him. And a big part of that is in the original script, what a lot of people don't, some people know, but like during that time when Sam was diagnosed with diabetes, my brother-in-law, Chris, Shannon's only brother, who's 8 years younger, was killed in a car accident. And so that happened, all this was like in 2004, all the same year. And so when the script was first written, it was hard to tell on the pages if, because Bart was just kind of a jerk, like just an angry person throughout the script. And we couldn't tell if just my son being a diabetic really just like, you could read it and go, man, his kid's still with him. I mean, it could be worse. Like you got this guy with cancer. It seems fine. Like what's Bart's problem? And it came across really, really rough. And we had several conversations when people would respond to that. I would say, well, what you don't know is my brother-in-law died in a car wreck after he left our house, thinking that I was the reason. So many things happened. And when you say that enough times, I think Andy was one that said, I think and we were trying not to touch that because that's a hard subject. It kind of needs to be in the story to explain why Bart's struggling so hard. So originally it was in the script, and that's the script I read to Frank. And I'm sitting there going, man, like to read on paper, them reliving everything with their son and dying and all that stuff. And so it was a hard read. And Frank was, the godly, sweetest man I've ever known. And I remember getting through the whole thing and there's tears in their eyes and everything. And we finish, I read the last line and I'm like, I close it. And his first thing out of his mouth is, I'm worried about Tim. Is Tim going to be okay? And I'm just like, good Lord, you just had to relive all of this.
Yes.
Tim's doing good. He's hanging in there. But that's so Frank.
So Frank.
To be that way. And so that was I wouldn't trade it for the world. He loved it. And that was a beautiful moment. I mean, just getting me to read the whole script out loud is a miracle. But it was a pretty sweet, sweet time. And we talked about it a lot for that. We were there for about a month and he had so many questions about the script and how's this going to work and all this. And
that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would, of course I would love for him to be here to see it, but I wouldn't trade that moment together.
Yeah. It was cool that he was the first audience for the film. And we dedicated the end of the movie to a dear friend, Jason Constantine, and who passed away last year, and Frank. And so it was cool to for that part of the journey to be by him, be a part of it. Just talking a little bit about the other magic things that we were talking about with Red Rocks. Mm-hmm. Red Rocks was the part of the equation that was the big outlier. We were like this will never happen. We're never going to get Red Rocks. But we couldn't figure out anywhere else that was fitting enough to film the end of the movie. Yeah. And so Red Rocks is booked for 2 years in advance. Yeah. Like every day. Mm. And there was zero chance we were going to get Red Rocks. But we were just like, it's the end of the movie. We got to go big. It's got to be beautiful. And so you guys went on a mission. How did Red Rocks come about? And then what were y'all's memories of that night? Because it was pretty special.
Man, I don't know what the time frame was. I know it was, considering they booked so far out. I remember when we first started talking about the movie, that was one of the first that came, was like, man, we've got to end in Red Rocks. And then you kind of, you're at the mercy of scheduling and when can you get crew and when can actors do it. And so by the time we realized this is the shooting schedule, we had run out a lot of time. And now you're trying to literally part the Red Seas here by now we have less time to try to get Red Rocks in there. And we just didn't know how. And then there are a couple of bigger, like Live Nation and the bigger booking company, whatever you call them. And some of those, they will be holding on to a large block of dates, knowing they'll fill them, but they're not completely filled yet. I didn't realize that, but that's how it normally works. And so, because they're the biggest dog on the hunt, they're like, they can grab 100 dates and say, we're going to fill them and just hold on to them. And one of the presidents of one of those companies, our booking agent, reached out and was like, man, we've got to find a date in this window. And he's like, man, I've got a block. And he has zero reason to ever let us have one, because those are incredibly valuable. And somehow he was like, yeah, we can make it work. We think this will work. And they really saved the day for us and got us in. So we were able to kind of make it a last minute tour date for MercyMe. And then fingers crossed was like, we just started telling them, hey, this is a MercyMe show. We're also going to be filming in the middle of the show. So our fans bought tickets.
Which is an amazing thing, because you and I were talking, and we were like, do we give the tickets away, or do we? It was like, let's make it a concert, and let's just see how many we can, so the concert, letting them know they get to be a part of finishing out the I Can Only Imagine movie. And we're like, I don't know if anybody's going to go for this, and it filled up quick.
It really did, and I think, and you guys did a great job of just like, hey, we're going to be at Red Rocks, but then the second you say, oh, and you have a chance to be in this film, like, there a little bit of FOMO kicks in.
Yeah.
And I was more impressed with selling the tickets. I was like, okay, like we made, merch that was just for that one night, kind of acknowledging, and just tried to make it a special occasion for them. I was more shocked when that place filled up, and you never know if the weather's going to be freezing, and we lucked out. It was cold, but it could have been way
it snowed like
colder.
the week before.
Yeah, the week before they were snowed out.
And so we lucked out with that. But man, they came, filled that place up, and so we did like a 45-minute set or an hour set. And then we're like, okay, guys, now fake band's coming out. And I think it was for a couple of hours, maybe.
Yeah.
For 2 hours, you're going to hear Even If.
Yeah. So we
over.
Yeah.
And
like,
over.
We were like, we only have so much of a window before we start a riot here.
Yeah.
But it was like, I think it was a total of 3 hours to film. Yep. So I think we did like an hour with you guys, with Sam, and then with you guys. Then we came and we did like an hour filming, and we gave it back to you guys, and then we did filming, and then you guys came back and did like an encore, and then we had a little bit of time with the crowd afterwards. Yeah. But it was like a really short window to film the last 20 minutes of the film. And it was like, we had 6 cameras going, we had a drone, and we had enough time to do one take per setup.
Yeah.
And on paper, it was going to be a train wreck. But we were like, it was like that scene in Interstellar where Matthew McConaughey's needing to sync up with the space station that's spinning.
Right, yeah.
And Anne Hathaway is like, that's impossible. And he's like, no, it's necessary. Start the spin. And then he just starts spinning. He's like, that's the most cool thing ever.
Yeah.
In the moment, you're thinking, this is going to be the end. And everything went perfect that night.
And it's do or die for the movie. Like, it is the moment.
Oh, there was no plan B.
And like adrenaline, everything was like, I've never seen Andy that emotional and screaming.
Well, I was going to say,
we got it on film.
Do you remember we were standing behind him? He was, he had his ears
going
on,
nuts.
and all of a sudden he just starts screaming. I think I have it on video.
We've got it on film.
Yeah.
We've got it on film.
It was the scene where John, you are singing, and it's like,
it's where the camera comes around him and sweeps up, and the big chorus.
Yeah. I think you peed your pants.
Yeah, you went.
I did.
Nuts.
I did.
It was
that was
beautiful.
awesome to see, because then you like just the tension of like, we have a window and we can't blow it, and just for it to all work, and then nobody left, because it's like, you're not. They're there. They can go whenever they want, and we stretched them to the limit. Came out and did like another 45-minute set, and then we're like, okay, guys, we got close-up shots, and so intentionally, like, we need, Lord willing, a third, maybe half the crowd if they could stay, and that's because we need to get close-up shots, and I'd say maybe a little less than half the crowd stayed till almost 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it was
like,
crazy.
They hung in there and it was incredible.
It was crazy. And everybody was feeling that night. So one of our camera guys, Tim, who's the Steadicam operator, there's one shot where it's the epic shot at the end of the final chorus where the camera's circling John Michael, and it's just this epic, shot. And when I went back to watch the take on the playback, you can hear from the audio from the camera, you can hear Tim, this little mild-mannered camera guy, screaming, "That's in the movie! That's in the movie!"
So awesome.
And it was so cool. It's like calling your own shot in a basketball game.
Yes.
But it was pretty amazing. And I think the moment that you were talking about earlier that was sweet that I didn't recognize until we went back and looked at playback was that first big epic sweep when you get to the big chorus and everything, the song gets big. The whole 8,000 people stood in unison. Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Yeah. It was chills. It was amazing visually to watch that happen.
Yeah, and it was the first time that night, like we didn't play the song yet. So it was the first time they heard Even If, whether it was us or the band. And, they're pumping the audio through the whole crowd like it's a real concert. And yeah, and they responded the way they normally do, but I didn't know. I thought they'd be like, well, don't ruin the scene. They'll tell us what to do. Yeah. That crowd did not care. We're going to worship.
They did not care. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. And it was funny because like watching the film, it's like, you would assume that's all CG, that crowd that size.
It was legit.
And it's like the first thing I tell whenever I'm sitting with somebody is like, that's real. That's all real. Like, I don't know what the biggest extras in a film is.
We came in second. So the Dark Knight Rises did that big football scene.
Pittsburgh, the Steelers Stadium.
They had 11,000.
Wow.
So I think we came in second or third on the list of all the
largest amount of extras.
Uh-huh.
That's insane, man.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty rad.
At least that's the legend I'm going to tell.
And it's also why you want to. I would encourage people to see this in a movie theater. Literally
on a
that
big
scene
screen
alone. I mean, just sonically, but then to see that sweep and the drones.
Yep.
And then rebuilding Red Rocks was.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing is when we got back, we were like, okay, we got everything that we needed to show off Red Rocks and show the scale, but we only had 3 hours and we still had a lot of close-up work to do and all that type of stuff and the close-up shots of the band and Bart. And so I went to the producing team, and of which I'm a member, but I was like, guys, we need to rebuild like a 2/3 scale set of the Red Rock stage. And they're like, I could see Daryl, who is always our numbers guy. He's crunching the numbers in his head. He's like, oh, that's going to be cost prohibitive. That's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're right, Daryl. What we do need to do is book Red Rocks for another day and go back out there and film the rest of it. He's like, I'll build you a sound stage. The other moment in that sequence that gets me emotional every time, and it was something that Milo added at the last minute, is when everybody stands up and he struggles to his feet as Tim, and then he puts his hand in the air defiantly and it shows off the X on his wrist. Yeah. Like that gets me emotional every time. Just that defiance of the eternal optimist kind of that gratitude of like I might be facing the end, but I'm gonna be grateful. Yeah. What has that X meant to you? And then how has it been cool to see other people kind of catch that through the film, just as it started to trickle out?
Yeah. I mean, man, that was 15 years ago that I started writing this thing on my wrist. And it was just my own little, I've built my kingdom my whole life. I'm sick of being awesome and trying to be awesome. And I woke up again today. And that's just always been a practice of mine. But the practice became solidified when I started writing this. And people are like, you should make it a tattoo. And it's like the gift of writing it every day is I get to write it every day. And my prayer every morning as I write this on my wrist is like, Jesus, thank you. You woke me up again. I just want to join you today. So open my eyes to like just see where you're at work today. And that practice has really shaped me. I mean, we get good at what we practice. Yeah. And there are many things that I practice that are not helpful for my life. But this has been one that has really shaped me in dramatic ways. And then now to watch this little personal thing that wasn't for anybody else, just for myself, to become something where I'm watching at all these screeners, you're watching people write it on their wrists, and it's just so honoring. It's so beautiful. And if people can find, whether it's this X or whatever thing is their own thing to remind them that they got another day, and not about tomorrow, but just like deal with the things God's put in front of you today. Like that's all we get, really, is we just get to deal with the things that, not even like God put this cancer in front of you. Like life's just hard. And yet God walks with us through it. And if more Jesus people could just practice that, I think I just think it'd be beautiful.
The father-son element, Bart, of this story, but kind of on the other foot of Bart now as a dad. What was it like walking this journey with Sam, and for you guys to kind of go back and relive some of those things? What was the experience that you saw Sam be able to have through this, and why was the father-son story important in this one?
It was actually pretty enjoyable compared to the first movie, trying to, not only relive some hard moments in my past, but trying to recollect it as best as I can recall, kind of on my own, was a challenge. This time around, being able to tell the story and walk with not only Sam, but my whole family was pretty surreal. And, I learned a lot. Like, the beginning of the story was, kind of you guys interviewing me and like, how hard was it as a dad and with a child with diabetes and all this kind of stuff. And it was a little, it was one-sided. It was obviously me telling my story. But when you guys interviewed Sam, I learned a lot about Sam I didn't even know. Like, I didn't know how, I never even thought about how it was impacting him as a kid with a dad that's less of a friend and more of take this shot, you don't eat this or whatever, just trying to keep him alive. And just the other night we were doing a screening in Detroit, and Sam and John Finley were with me, and they were asking a similar question. And Sam's answer was, they said, "What did you learn, Sam, through all this? And what was it like?" And he goes, looking at it, kind of like you stepping out and watching your story from the outside looking in. Sam was like, "I hate to say it, but I kind of side with my dad now. Like, I keep going, Sam." He goes, "I tell myself, Sam, what were you doing? He's trying to keep you alive." And he goes, "I start seeing things as my dad saw them back then, maybe the older I am." And I made him say it again in front of that whole crowd, so make sure you understood it. Yeah, repeat what you said.
That was recorded.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool. But I was learning, the struggles he was feeling, literally watching the interviews y'all did with him. Like, whether it was I just never thought to ask, I don't know. But I was like, I learned quite a bit. It was very therapeutic to go through that process, and then to kind of have that information going into filming. It was just really cool to stand alongside of Sam almost every day, every night we're shooting, and just kind of watch all these people kind of tell our story and kind of like bump elbows and go, "This is pretty nuts." Like, it was really enjoyable for both of us. And it's, and it's because we're in such a healthy place, now, like, and it wouldn't be able to tell the story otherwise. And so that's the part that's great, is like, isn't that crazy what we went through, or what we thought we were saying, or, whatever. So I've loved it. I wouldn't trade that for the world. That's been like all around. It's been not that the first one was not enjoyable. It was just totally different. You guys got it so right in the first one that there was a pit in my stomach, and I had to walk out on some of the shots when you were filming it, which meant you were doing it right, but it was hard to watch. This was a different case. There were moments like in the hospital scene and all that kind of stuff where it got me again, but the joy of being able to, put my arm around my son still, and that he's here with me, and to watch all that stuff makes things a lot easier. So, yeah.
That's cool.
I just had an interview the other day when we were doing that junket, and the first interview came in to Milo and I, and they said, loved the movie. Love the movie. I'm like, great. Tell us about the father-son relationship. To Milo and I. It was so perfect. It was like,
oh, you haven't seen it. You didn't see it.
Well, Milo's
That's
the dad.
awesome.
You could have gone anywhere and been like, like the alien abduction part. Am I right? Am I right?
It was the best first interview. Just tell us about the father-son relationship.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's funny.
I was so happy. I was like,
for it.
wow, we looked at each other. Well, I would love to get that footage.
I saw like the advanced box office results the other day that Bart sent me, and like that they said that the predictions, and then it said the predictions are X, and it was like, oh, that's a really good prediction, and then it says, and Milo Ventimiglia playing Tim Timmons as the front man, or playing Bart Millard as the front
Playing
man.
the front man of
MercyMe,
MercyMe.
and like, well, maybe their box office predictions aren't so accurate. It's like maybe they don't know what they're talking about. As we kind of face it coming out in theaters and different things like that, what are you guys hoping for audiences to be able to take away and enjoy and like the experience, and why is this one that you feel like they need to go see in the theater?
Well, I hope it does incredibly well. Not just because of what we've put into it, but it's we're at a time when faith films, like these filmmakers are genuinely rooting for each other, and like it is kind of like the Wild West for faith films. I've had meetings with high up execs at some of the biggest film companies that are like, why they call it selling movies to the red states, whatever you want to call it. And they're like, why do faith films work? And it's the questions are so elementary, the things they're asking, and it's like, it's kind of mind-boggling. These guys are running the biggest studios, and they can't figure out what a faith film is.
That's funny.
And so it's like but they just know that they're selling, and so it's like for this movie to show up as one of the top movies that first weekend, I will 100%, like I have no shame in telling people, man, go see this movie the first weekend, because that first weekend is that's the statement, that's the megaphone, and when they see what it does that first weekend, it sets a precedent. And man, if this thing were to show up in the top 1 or 2 films or whatever, Hollywood takes notice. That means we get to make more films, and the more we make, the better they get. Right. And I don't say we as in kingdom, but anybody that's in the faith space, like there's stories to be told, and they keep getting better and better and better. And it's only because people are buying tickets. It's the voice of the church, and they're the only thing that moves the needle. Is like, if this thing makes money for Hollywood, that's what moves the needle. Right. And so if the church and Christians want more movies and want a voice, go see these movies. Right. Not just this one, all of them, but go see them and support them. And that's what's happening. It's already, it seems bigger, and faith films are it just seems like an all-time high right now. And, I remember when we released Imagine, it was like no man's land. And there's some would come through. I literally, coming over to the podcast, I was like, I wonder how many faith films have been number 1 at the box office.
Not many.
There's 4. And, Passion of the Christ, Sound of Freedom, and then the other 2 I wouldn't have gotten, but War Room and the Heaven is for Real.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not many. And so it's like, but here we are, we keep seeing more and more pop up, because hopefully our fans are loyal and they're showing up in the theater, especially after the pandemic, when the theater is just kind of, it's a different monster. Yeah. And so I'm like, man, go see it. Tell your friends about it. I mean, we've done everything we could to try to make the best film possible. And I really believe that it's actually a great film. Like, it's, Brent and Andy both were like, we don't want to cash in on a sequel. We want to make something that could stand on its own. And you guys have done that. And so support it any way you can. And please, so that we can tell more stories.
Yeah. I think there's 2 kind of sequels. There's, when we went into it, we said there's Gladiator 2, which worships the original and destroys it. And then there's Top Gun 2 that honors the first movie and takes it somewhere new. And reminds you why you care about these characters, and it builds. And so we're like, what would Top Gun, Maverick do? Was kind of our idea. And so I hope that we honor the first one, and then we take it somewhere new. And I think the audiences are in for a treat. Just to wrap up with this, we talked a lot about that. In this movie, we got the goofball nature of the band right, and I'm so glad that we fought to fly back in Mark Furze from Australia as incredible. Nathan, and to Jason Berkey had just had his wife had just had a baby the week before, and he came in to play Mike again, and then we added Ezra Proach to play Robbie in this one as an older Robbie, and then we added Aaron Benward to play Barry. The banter between them and Trace Atkins as Brickle, and then John Finley as Bart, and then now Milo, that banter between everybody was so good. And it was like, so the goofball qualities of the practical jokes and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So looking back into your memory between the 2 of you guys, 3 of the top goofball memories on the road with the band MercyMe. Tim, you moments with you, whatever, just where you guys are just being idiots, ones that stand out that you're able to tell on camera without getting canceled for it.
Oh man,
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
The not getting canceled for it.
yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, some of my favorite. Well, they were goofball memories. I don't know if it's. I mean, like the one tour we did. It might have been. Was your first tour when we were doing the documentary for the Right Show?
Yeah.
And this company wanted to do a documentary of the Rock and Worship Roadshow that we owned, and that was the first tour I met Tim. And,
Which is the tour that basically the movie's based on.
Right.
yeah. And so during that, they were like, we need content like during the day. We got to keep stuff. So they would like they make us do these Segway tours and
that's where we
4-wheelers in the desert. And like everywhere we go, they had some like, a program director come up with something.
Yep.
And yeah, there was some pretty, like the Segway tour, putting Tim on a Segway and then him trying to get strangers to join the tour, things like that. Or we tried to do the ballet and just ate it hard. Yeah, and it was like us,
Seattle,
and Lecrae. There's those random people doing that. And
F1, the cars, Tadashi,
gosh, there's a lot. That tour especially, somehow Tim convinced Tadashi to let him play drums during his set.
Oh, I think I saw footage of that.
Still am not convinced Tim's a drummer, but he swears he was.
I killed it.
Did you just hit things?
I
have proof. I'll show you later.
You're dumb.
At some point, he's standing just hitting the ride.
Because it was all theatrical.
But did he sell it? Did he sell it?
He's 100% sold it.
I started drums at 7, and I'm not that good, but man, my heart was in it. It was pretty simple to hold that thing down.
There's no way I would have. Like, that's Tim. Tim's like, you don't have a drummer? I played when I was 7. I've got this. I can see Aaron doing that right now. And just he walked out there, and I thought, this dude he can do it all.
Yeah.
And he started playing drums. I was like, he stopped playing at 8. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it was just, it was like the confidence and the ability.
It's like that moment with the other guys, like aim for the bushes, like jumps off the building,
totally
cuts to the funeral.
He was so confident that I was convinced this was a great way to play drums.
I killed it. I totally killed it.
I have video. I'll show you later. Good. He's just hitting that ride, standing away from the drum kit, hitting it off to the side at one point.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Robbie might like pull a hammy this next tour. And if he pulls a hammy, Timmons is jumping in.
I will play
epic.
That is
the
epic.
crap out of these songs.
It's amazing.
Word of God speak, I've got my.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Happy dance.
I love it.
This.
I remember Tadashi and was it Princeton, his hype man?
Yes.
Just them like he started playing. They're like, he convinced us. Like, and let me say, it wasn't awful.
No, it was not awful.
But it would be like, I can carry a beat, but I cannot play drums. I don't. It's kind of like that. It's like somebody figured out hat kick snare.
In that moment, are you sweating on the inside? Like, what have I done? Or are you been like, this is awesome?
I looked like he was eating it up.
I told him, the best part is I told him early on, I'm like, bro, because, just who would come out? Jacob from
Biz?
Family Force 5.
Oh, Jacob. Yes, that's right.
And he would play drums, and their bus broke down. And I told Tadashi early on, I'm like, bro, FYI, if you ever need me to come out there and like play some drums, I don't want to brag, but I played at 7. and so then their bus broke down, and I'm like,
Tadashi in good faith is like, yeah, bro, come on out.
He's like, come on.
He was so confident. Like, I would have let him play drums with us the way he pitched it. Like, this dude's killing. I had no idea. And then you got there, and it's okay. Let me get it right. Like, he didn't ruin anything, but the confidence level and the ability was like, is this a bit? Like,
that's hysterical.
And if it was a bit, he never got out of character because like he was so into it. The energy level was off the chart, and to the point where Tadashi and Prince would look back and just couldn't stop laughing. Like, and not that it was just like, what did you sell me?
That's epic.
Gold is what I
remind me
them.
to show you the videos.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I love it. Well, it's that friendship that's the basis of this movie, and I think it's what sold me on doing the sequel, and it didn't disappoint. And so I'm excited. The movie's opening soon, and I love what we created, and it's been a privilege to be on the journey with you guys. So
love you, dude.
Thanks so much.
Yes,
love you
sir.
too, man. Thanks for being on the Storytellers. That's the show. So that's our show. Loved having you guys along for the journey. The thing I like about Bart and Tim is there's something about just this beautiful dance between not taking yourself too seriously and just being able to laugh at yourself, and finding moments that have deep meaning that really just give grace to people. And I just think both of these guys have had such a powerful voice in telling stories that help people understand grace. And even if it's one of those songs that people hear it and they just break down crying because of the amount of empathy that comes across there, and a God that really cares for you right where you're at. And I love the stories that they've told together, and I love the humans that they are behind the scenes. You're going to love their story, and I can only imagine too, and I can't wait for you to see it in theaters. So that's the show today, and just want you to encourage you guys to keep telling those stories that have deep meaning and just give grace to the world, because the world needs it. We'll see you on the next edition of The Storytellers.
The Storytellers is a Kingdom Story Company production. It is produced by Nick Carey and Beecher Proch, with production assistance from Ben and Justin Bailey. Our executive producers are Brandon Gregory and Joshua Walsh. Social media for the show is run by the Troops and Allies team. Our music is Twisted Rooster by Tommy Prophet. Special thanks to our entire team at Kingdom Story Company. To make sure you never miss out on any of our exciting guests, subscribe to The Storytellers on YouTube at Kingdom Story Company or wherever you listen to podcasts. For exclusive first looks at our upcoming films, behind-the-scenes content, and invitations to advanced screenings, join the conversation as a Kingdom Insider at kingdomstorycompany.com. As always, thanks for joining Andrew Erwin and his friends on The Storytellers.